Our heads for prayer, please. Our most precious Heavenly Father, be with us tonight as we do the business of the people of the town of Benson. And bring this group together so that when we get finished, we have accomplished the things that are pleasing in your sight. And that you know that we are doing the things that this community needs and wants. Bless this group. Give them the strength to carry on and to make good, clear decisions. In God's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Let's stand and pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We might have to get the chief of police in here. There were several people that weren't standing. Several people that weren't standing there.
I'll entertain a motion for approval of the agenda.
I'll make that motion.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Consent agenda. I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda. Is there any questions? All in favor, say aye.
No.
Opposed, no. There's no public,
No, we haven't had any phone
have you had any phone calls?
No, or there's no email either. And it's been open since 7 online.
So we'll close the public hearing, the public comment section. Department reports, you can see the ones that, you've read the ones that's there. Is there any questions about that? We've got all the people out there can answer the questions. Everybody good with the department comment reports?
Mm-hmm.
There's no public hearing, no old business. And new business, consider approval of the advisory board appointments. There's 2 seats open, and there's 2 people that have applications in, Linda Peacock and Alicia Gables. Is there any question about these? Any comments? I'll entertain a motion to approve them as the 2 new members of the Benson Advisory Board.
I'll make that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Fred's gonna make an update, report on the Benson Art Advisory Board. Fred?
Thank you, Mayor. We do realize, Loretta, thank you for allowing us to change up the list of names that were coming on board here for the Arts Advisory Board. I just came from a meeting that they were having on the other side of the building, and they indicated that they would like to be able to tap into your expertise and to your contact list from time to time. So if you're amenable to that, I'll relay that information back to the Arts Advisory Board. I'm excited about the direction they're taking. We got a lot of business done in the 40 minutes that I was down there with them, taking a look at their bylaws and approval of minutes and what the process will be like for having murals come before them and to be decided upon by business owners to have it on the side of their building. I think Commissioner Neighbors, that you'll be glad to see that the process and what you've seen from the early start is moving along very well, and I think you'll be proud of the work that they're doing. That's pretty much all I have on that.
Any questions for Fred? We'll move on to consider the approval of the additional supplemental appropriation for Disaster Relief Act 2019. Tim Robbins.
You hear me?
Yes.
All right. Last week or a couple weeks ago, I believe we had the Blue Company assist us with generating a application for the Asada grant. Is some state monies or federal monies that are passed along to the state to work on some disaster mitigation work related to water and sewer. We've identified some pretty strong potential projects in this application. What I come to you tonight for is the final step in applying for this grant loan funding opportunity. We have to designate the signing authority for it. Being indicated to me, typically that would be the town manager. So what we're asking for is to move forward with submitting this application for this project, and the authority, I guess the authority vested in Mr. Nelson to sign the document.
Does anybody have any questions of Tim? I'll entertain a motion to approve this.
I made that motion.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Tim Robbins, talk about the garbage fee.
We talked about last week the pending adjustments that would occur in waste collection, and talked about some of the needs or some of the demand that's placed on our resources to manage this program. We talked with Waste Industries. I think Mr. Neighbors had a question last meeting regarding Waste Industries' ability to handle the carts as opposed to the Public Works Department handling carts. They're setting up a portable connection for us where we can get calls, we can pass it along straight to them. They said that they do this in a lot of towns. It's no additional charge. The only difference is it'll take them. We typically would get a card out to the customer the same day or the next day. They've indicated they strive for 48 hours turnaround. So that would be the difference in us passing that along to Waste Industries. We would no longer have a supply of carts that Public Works. When the call comes in, we would pass that along to Waste Industries, and in due time they would get the cart service replaced, delivered to a new customer, or whatever the need may be. We've also talked about rates. Currently, we're at $21.09. We're anticipating a 3% increase in January. That'll take us to $21.72. That's always a consumer price index. We're not close enough to that January target to have an accurate estimate, but in the past, it's been 3 years, the past, I don't know, several years for us. So we're anticipating that. We're suggesting to help gather some additional monies to cover the cost of managing the yard waste and some of the other things that come along with just having a solid waste program in town. We've got two suggestions. We could increase 7% in July. That would take us to $22.56. And obviously, Waste Industries would consume presumably 3% of that 7% increase starting in January. That would generate $18,724 roughly. That would be applied directly to managing all of the yard waste materials at Porter Street, as well as helping with some of the cost of collecting that material. If we wait and just increase 7% in January, when we expect the Waste Industries contract to increase, then that would yield about $6,800 to apply towards yard waste management. I don't know if we necessarily need an answer so much as just this was an opportunity to give us some time to sort of crunch some numbers and come back with some answers for you following the last budget meeting. Any questions for me?
Any questions, anybody? Thanks, Tim.
Thank you.
Consider approval of an ordinance. Is Aaron here?
She's on.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, you're up.
Okay, thank you. This evening, I'd like to bring back before you an ordinance to authorize demolition, and removal of the burn structure at 104 East King Circle. I went out there today and got some photos. As you can see on the screen, the contractors, have started removing the debris. Just a brief history. This came before you last year, back in October, and he did not pass the ordinance because the property owner had pulled a permit to demolish the structure. Well, since October, the structure has been sitting there. The contractor demolished the structure, but left all of the debris. So I've been working back and forth with the property owners, and this is why we are bringing it back, because it's taken this long for them to get out there and clear the site. Thankfully, they were working out there today. I would still like to request to authorize the demolition, just in case something happens and the contractor does not finish the job. And so we will have that in place, but I'm thinking within the week or two, the site should be completely cleared and, the case will be closed, very soon. So if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Aaron, this is Max. What did they say today? Did they say that they're just trying to proceed, or what's their status?
Yes, so they are definitely trying to proceed. The contractor had his guys out there today, and I actually spoke with them, and they said that they were hoping, to have the big piles up today. They're running trucks back and forth from the site to the landfill, and then they would, have to clear it with the smaller debris. So he was hoping they would be finished within the week. So definitely, since October to today, there's been significant improvement. I just do not want it to lag because it's had so much issues with the contractor. I think it would be prudent to go ahead and authorize the demolition to do not complete the work, but it looks like they will.
So how much is it gonna cost the town?
Well, when the structure was down, and it was just the burned debris, I got a quote for roughly $6,000. But now I'm sure that would change because they've taken the bulk of that debris away as of today. And so of course that would change, significantly from 6,000 when the entire burn structure, nothing had been done, it was just sitting there. So now we need to get both of it. You kind of see in the pictures here.
I might interject at this point that has been cleared significantly within the last week. It languished that long in terms of how long it took them to even get started on the pile. They had a broken down truck along with the pile of rubber that they had there. So
Who is they?
the Alfred family,
The who?
Alfreds on that block. So the contractor wasn't too responsive for a while there. But within the last week, we've seen quite a bit of improvement. So we can't guarantee that they're going to finish.
So if we approve this, would it be possible, I'm just asking, I'm not sure this is a smart thing or not. It'd be possible to say, we'll approve this effective June 1st or something like that. We have to do it right now, where we have to if they're trying there, I hate to bring the heavy-handed government down on them while they're trying.
Aaron, is that,
Yeah. Yes, that is definitely right. I think, if you do effective June first, that's more than enough time to get them, have cleared. And if June first is not cleared, we can go ahead and do what we need to do to clear the remaining debris.
I'll say one thing. Aaron contacted me also this afternoon and asked my thoughts on that. And my suggestion was that she still bring this was already agenda. This was on an agenda several months ago in October, and the board gave that forbearance time, because again, the heavy-handed government people say, well, there was action that was being taken, or it seemed that it was. I think that there was a lot of issues that with the contractor, but nevertheless, it's was not being done. So when this got brought back, now more is being done. Aaron said, well, what do you think? And I said, well, I think you still bring it to the board and, consider passing it. And then that doesn't necessarily mean that she has to have Tim and his crew or calling to get someone hauled off or town staff doing it right away. So what Max is saying about some additional time, I think that's smart. But at least if you pass this, you don't have to come back and revisit this step again. If you read in the ordinance, we re-noticed them. All the notice that was done back months ago was all proper, and there was a hearing, and all of that was done. So that hay is in the barn, so to speak, but after so much time goes by and then the process just sort of hangs, I think it's better to, my suggestion would be to go ahead and consider passing it, but then allow some more additional time because you want to provide that to the property owner, and it doesn't cost the town anything, of course, to let them clean up themselves.
Well, I couldn't hear. I'm having trouble hearing all of it. But so right now we don't have any money in it. The town hasn't spent any money on it at this point, right?
That's right. Not spend any money on clearing the site at all.
yeah,
We haven't spent any money. I'm just looking at this Norwest Financial. It looks like they've got a first lien on this property anyway. In the condition that it's in, and there was never any insurance or anything to come in and pay all
I
this.
think there was insurance. I think that they did have
If
insurance.
they had insurance, it was the other property on that same street, 205 East King Circle, that did not have insurance. But this property, the owners did have insurance. In fact, they're all ready to go to rebuild. The holdup was their demolition contractor, so they're ready to put a brand new house out there.
So any money that we did spend, if we did, we would still be behind this Norwest Financial, right?
If you put a lien on it, you'd be safe to the person. I can update that real quick. I'm gonna just pull it up. A lot of times they'll pay off the mortgage.
Is there any other questions?
Well, it just seems like to me, the ability.
Yeah, it's still active. So yeah, you'd be subject to it. Again, I still suggest you pass the ordinance, consider passing the ordinance, and then, kind of hold it in abeyance. And because it seems like in the last few days, a lot of activities taking place and a lot of progress being made. You don't have to necessarily go and act on that and send the crew out there to haul it off. But this way, if for some reason tomorrow we just turn back into a ghost town and there was still a lot of stuff there, Aaron and I will have to bring this back to you to do this step. It's already done, and you can just proceed.
And in the event that it's finalized or completed, then this ordinance just dies on
Just
that.
move it. Yeah.
All right, whatever makes you-
June first comes strike, that's 2 or 3 weeks, right? 3 weeks. 2 weeks or 12.
What do you think?
I think it's plenty enough time.
You go June 15th, whatever, you think June 1st is good, you do whatever you want.
I believe June 1st is
Want to make a motion, Max?
I make a motion that we grant this ordinance effective June 1st. As long as, and hopefully you don't have to use it if they're making significant progress during that time.
Any other discussion?
Hey, Mayor, for us on Zoom, can you repeat what the
Effective June 1st. Any other questions?
Is William even here?
He's sitting mighty still over there. He's on. He's
You
on.
can't hear us?
He's mighty still.
He's on.
I can hear you, Mayor. We can hear you, Mayor, really, really good. It's hard to hear everybody else.
Okay.
William?
Yes, sir.
Oh, nothing, I was just saying. Just checking on you.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Uh,
Opposed, no. How's that?
Thank you.
Consider approval of the audit contract. Kim?
Okay, so, typically we go out for RFP every 3 years, for auditors. Last year, I just extended their contract a year due to, Matt leaving and just everything that was going on at this time. I did go out for RFP on March the 25th. It was due back April the 24th, and, I am recommending that we go with Sharp Patel, PLLC. The average cost over the next 3 years, it's a 3-year contract, is $22,806. It was about $2,000 less than the other auditor that I've heard response from. And just so y'all know, this is the same auditor. It is Jay still. He just went out with another partner from his firm, and they opened their own firm. So it's a different firm, but same actual auditor. So it's the same team that has done our work, audit work for the last 4 years. They're very familiar with our books. So it'll be a smooth transition from last year to this year.
Did you get that question resolved on page 52?
I haven't been able to talk to him yet, but I'll mark it out whenever we sign it, or I'll make sure that it's a cleaned up audit before you sign it on Friday. A cleaned up contract before you sign it on Friday.
Any questions of Kim? I'll entertain a motion to approve it. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. March financials.
Hold on, let me get all my stuff together. Hard to do this from home. Okay. So at the end of March, we should have been at 75%. As you can see, our revenues were 80.12, our expenditures were 82.36. Expenditures are a little bit higher, not by much, but they are a little higher. I've still told department heads to spend, just what you need, bare necessities during this time, because we are losing utility revenue. But if you have any questions, and I'm still trying to get in touch with FEMA, trying to get that final payment for the water and sewer department.
Does anybody have any questions of Kim? This is the best report we've had all year, so. I'll entertain a motion to approve the financials.
I'll make that motion.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Lease agreement. Great person.
Yes, sir. Basically, what I need tonight is authorization from the board to place us in the queue to get 2 Dodge Durangos. It wouldn't, there's no cost associated with it right now. We wouldn't have to pay anything until we take delivery, which would be probably December of the next fiscal year. I just need authorization to place the order.
I I noticed on that sheet that, we had, showed the prices for what the rental or lease was for a year. And that Durango is $11,000 more a year than the F-150 was. And I thought that was really unusual. That car must be really expensive.
Well, the lease price that's on the sheet is for two Durangos and one F-150.
Two Durangos?
Yeah, it's like $5,800 a piece. For the Durango. 11,000 for two of them.
What are you asking for?
Pardon me?
What are you asking for? One or two?
Two Durangos and one F-150, but the F-150 doesn't have an order deadline like the Dodges do.
If we, I see it, I love the photos, if we order the Rhinos this month, and then we can get them delivered by the end of the year. If we wait, then it wouldn't be for the spring, or even later, that we'd be able to get them. It can also, Greg, correct me if I'm wrong, but the price would be a little bit different. If we waited till next spring.
One of the problems is they're not making chargers right now, so he's unable to lease a charger because they're not making them. So it's looking like the end, and Greg, nod or say, tell me if I'm wrong, but it's looking like the end of 2020 before we're even going to be able to order a charger, and then it'll be 2021 before we actually take possession of the charger. In this situation, he would be able to take the two chargers that he has that need to go, three chargers that have to be surplus. Three chargers that have to be surplus, and he can get two Durangos and then get the F-150. The Durangos have to be, the order has to be placed by the 16th, I believe. Right?
Yeah.
No, yeah. We have to place the order for the Durangos by the 16th in order to take possession of them in this upcoming fiscal year. So that's the only reason why we're asking for approval tonight. And then it's in the budget now currently, it'll stay in the budget, so I'll approve it tonight.
So you're talking about ordering it now and taking delivery in next year's budget?
Correct.
Is those three vehicles in the budget recommendation for next year?
Yes, they were. They were in the budget numbers, and we presented on them at the last meeting.
Any other questions?
So, let me just make sure I'm okay on this. You're talking about a police officer will actually be patrolling with a Durango?
Yes, sir.
Didn't the town of Smithfield just do this?
Yeah, they just ordered 5, if I read it correctly.
Greg, how many, if we order these Durangos, how many vehicles will be leased by the department versus owned? Because I know we got rid of some that we owned last year and went with a lease. Are we going to end up on 100% leased course at this point in time if we order these?
No, not if we lease these 3 vehicles, we'll have, I believe, 8 total that are enterprise vehicles. We have 15 total.
Have we been pretty happy with the lease so far? With the ones that we did last year?
From an operational standpoint, yes, we don't have any issues at all. I don't handle the business side of it.
And they've been great to deal with. So she keeps me up to date on such things like this with the information on the Dodge Chargers. I mean, she basically keeps in contact about every other week, I feel like. But I've had no issues on the administrative side with him either. So.
I think the reason I have concerns about it is that when you look at the police department, they've had a fairly dramatic increase in the amount of money they're getting each year. And public safety is normally about 30% of the budget for the 10 budget. And we're at about 34 and a half. So we've got these cars in that number. But the police budget now is about $1.3 million. Pretty high. Any other discussion? I'll entertain a motion, what the board's wishes are.
Make a motion to approve.
Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Budget discussion, Kim and Fred.
I think just for this section, I would kind of like to hear your thoughts. You presented the budget last meeting. Hopefully you had time to look over it and just let me know, if you had any questions, kind of, was there anything in there that you were kind of like, about or that you agreed with, that maybe we need to go a bit different direction? I will say, I did hear a little bit about road paving, and I think that it may be a good idea just with everything that's been going on with the economy. Maybe we take the fund balance that we have appropriated for paving and maybe do half in the 2021 budget and the other half in the 21-22 budget, and then pave in the 21-22 budget cycle. So we did that a couple of years ago, and then we take 2 years worth of Power Bill money and then that $300,000 and do it not this upcoming year, but maybe the next budget year. So I wanted to hear what your thoughts were on that. That will reduce the general fund somewhat. What are your thoughts on, the 3% COLA? Do we need to do something different? Just kind of want to hear where y'all are with it.
I wanted to ask, I might have dreamed it, but I think Mayor Medlin said something last meeting about, I want to say 20% budget decrease because of COVID, or what are your thoughts on that? I wanted to.
Well, there's a number of the economists that said that the rest of this year there'll be a 30% reduction in these months before 1st of July, in a reduction of 30% of revenue. And in next year's budget, it was 20%. But I did a survey of all the towns in Johnson County, and there's a couple of them not far enough along. But it looks like 5 to 8% reduction in revenue is what most people are thinking about.
So the way the pound is going to be 5 to 8%. 5 to 8%
reduction in the revenue that we would have gotten before the virus came.
I think the things that you're saying, Kim, are things that we need to explore, and we need your expertise on that. Figure out ways we can spread stuff out and just be safe. We don't want to get in a situation where we have a budget shortfall and we get caught with canceling.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And I will say, when we were going through, Fred and I were looking at the revenues, I was very usually I would probably say, oh, well, this is going to increase for next year because it increases every year. And I was very calculated in not making those increases that I usually would have made. I definitely think that utility revenue is going to be down. And so I accounted for that some. There's a possibility we may need to go back and look at it again. I have on the HR listserv, and Scott's been keeping his ear out for me too. Some of the things that other towns are doing is maybe taking those capital projects like paving and moving them into another, like into the next fiscal year, not the one coming up, but the one after that. Just making moves like that, so we're not doing a lot of expenditures like that in this upcoming year, because I think everybody is really just unsure of what we're going to see right now.
How far are we behind now, Kim? Where are we?
600,000.
How much?
600,000.
Yeah.
You mean on balancing the budget?
No, this year.
So
Okay, how far are we from what? From how much are we missing in revenues right now?
yeah,
or?
revenue, the loss
Okay.
of revenue.
Hold on one second. Let me pull up. And I do need to get Crystal to pull this report again. But we were about. I'm sorry, I wanted to find the exact number. I don't want to give you guys a number off the top of my head. We're about $81,000 in the hole currently of utility revenues, and that was as of April 30th. Now, keep in mind, we've just rebilled. We just sent out bills on the 7th, so that number, if I were to pull that number right now, it's going to be way higher because we haven't really received a lot of payments yet.
So is the bulk of that the lack of utilities being paid?
That is all the lack of utilities being paid.
Oh, that's
Absolutely.
just utilities. That doesn't
That
include
is just,
that doesn't include what we've lost in the hotel tax and all that other stuff, right?
right, and I haven't gotten the hotel tax for this month yet. I'm still waiting. They actually were supposed to turn it in on the 10th, and so I expect to see Days Inn and Hampton Inn any day now.
Right.
And then of course I won't see the sales tax right away, because they're about 2 months. It's about 2 months delayed on us getting those revenues, and so I won't see those. Like what I just got in April would have been for like February, so I won't see that hit right yet. I usually see those later. So I can't tell you kind of how far off we are on those yet.
So
I
Kim,
just think, well, I'm sorry.
Kim, what is the normal loss as far as utility prior to this?
Usually not that much. Kim and I were looking at water and sewer not that long ago for this ASADRA grant, and really, water and sewer, and there's a way when you make the payment, there's a way it hits the accounts. It goes to garbage first because that's a contract, and then it goes to water and sewer, and the last thing paid is electric. So if you pay like a portion of your bill, that's the order that it gets paid in. So I have to go back and pull some reports. But I mean, I would like to say we were probably 85% collection rate. Water and sewer was a little bit higher, but you got to account for that electric that sometimes doesn't get paid. But we are very aggressive when it comes to the cutoff list. Obviously, the prepaid has helped tremendously because those people that were routinely on the cutoff list are now going to prepaid. And so there's not really a chance for them for us to lose revenue with them. And then we're using debt set off as well. And when I came in 15, I was very aggressive with getting old accounts in debt set off, and they're continuing that now. So, you know, if the account will be closed for 30 days, we don't have payment, it's going into debt set off right then. So.
Well, Cassandra's question though, if you really think about it, if it were normal times, you don't have that much lost revenue because you cut them off if they get, so far in the hole.
Right,
So
yeah.
now it's a completely different situation. You can't cut them off, and some may be just spending the money somewhere else and not paying their bills. But
But what is our, and I wasn't here at the 30th, or whatever, to discuss it. What are we looking at how we're going to address that? At some point in time, we're going to have to address it. And my fear is, and I think I'm right, and y'all will probably all agree, I think these that have gone the whole 2 and 3 months of past utility bills are not going to be in a position to pay it. And you can say prorate, but again, I think some of them got very limited income, so fixed incomes.
there's 2 points about what we're talking about. Number one, the governor and the attorney general that set these rules could say, we're gonna allow them to forgive all the money that they haven't paid. Or the second part of that is the federal government is talking about $1.5 billion right now that will go to the towns directly. The county got money specifically for the fires. In other words, there's got to be something directed at that. So we got a conference call at 1 o'clock tomorrow with the White House, and we hope to find out whether the president has decided that he's going to support the towns getting money for lost revenue and lost hotel tax and those kind of things. If we get that, it would be it could be a break-even kind of thing.
But my thought, Kim, and I'm just saying this. I think you better tighten the belt everywhere you can and not be basing it on what we might get from Washington or from Raleigh.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the question is going to be, what are we going to be able to appropriate those funds for if we do get it? Because most of the PPP and the small business loans have got very stringent rules on what you can and can't use that money for, which is going to put a lot of businesses in a bind. But moreover, what the email that Fred sent out today, they did not include any lost utility costs in that fund. Only thing it included was salaries and overtime pay. So I don't know that any of that fund is going to be able to use for any lost revenue per se.
And that's a lot of what we've seen so far is we can get refund, we can get money back for stuff that we've used that have to do with COVID-19, which we bought some masks and we bought some gloves and some sanitizer, but it's not going to be anything to what we're actually missing in this utility revenue.
How many new positions are in that budget? How many newly created positions for the town president budget?
So currently there were,
Economic development.
pulling it up. So you had economic developer was a new position. There was a SRO officer in the police department. Then you got the assistant chief in fire. Parks and Rec had a rec maintenance position. And then Tim had a equipment operator position. So
I think to be fiscally responsible when we don't know what's coming, we might be to look at maybe just maintaining what we've got for the building since they're trying to grow and stay up. I think that's our biggest experience is going to be personal.
I'm making notes. So, Cassandra, I'm sorry I misunderstood your question a while ago. On the April 30th report that I was giving you guys, that was 248 people not paying their bill. But that's 2 months, so that was what hadn't paid as of April. We had gotten the cutoff list down to like less than 20. I mean, every month. So that's a huge difference.
I want to say that I might be wrong in the number, exact number, but Crystal was able to share with me that what with the prepay, it brought it down to about $4,000 or less that we might find that we're out at any given time. Am I close in the ballpark with that figure, Kim?
I can't hear what you're. I can't hear you very well.
Crystal had indicated to me that since there was prepay, it wasn't Crystal, it was Maya, that there isn't much that we're losing. It'll probably be less than $4,000. That figure sticks in my head.
For prepaid, correct.
Period.
Yeah, for prepaid, that's probably an accurate statement. What I'm looking at is the traditional customers.
I have a question, just so I can understand it. If we can't cut them off and they're on prepay and they run out of money, they keep going, right?
Yeah, right now, that's the law that was set. So there's a moratorium on the prepaid accounts, that even if they go into the negative, they're not being cut off. But what we are doing is contacting those people and saying, hey, you need to make a payment because it is gonna come due. And when it does, it will be shut off. It'll go right back to the same rules that applied before. So you need to not let it get behind. So we are, even though we can't cut them off, we are still contacting those people and letting them know, hey, you need to pay a bill.
So Kim, at the last meeting, it was mentioned that there was a possibility of, I don't know if it's the governor or who, basically pushing for towns to extend residents paying anywhere from 6 to 12 months. Give them 6 to 12. So have we heard anything different about that?
The 6 months.
I haven't heard anything different. I don't know if I have.
And that discussion we talked about, Sandra, that's in the executive order that was dates back to March.
So that is permanent.
That's passed by executive order. Kim talked about, in some of her circles, they're talking about it. I've also seen probably good potential for a challenge to the legality of the governor being able to do that to municipalities in North Carolina. But as we're having this conversation, that is in that order. The same order that requires us to not turn them off also requires that when this does pass by and that order expires, then we have to do a minimum of 6 month payment plan on the arrearage.
Well, I tell you, I've spent 4 days working, not every minute, but working on this budget to see. And the backside of the budget is in pretty good shape. But the part that's not in shape is town hall. And that's where most of the shortage is coming from. To being able to balance the budget is what's in the general fund, and the general fund is out of balance by a good bit. And I think if everybody on the board would take this packet that we got last meeting and sit down and really look at it and see what you think. If you didn't look at anything but the total figures on each one, it would be a help. But I think for the most part, the budget is pretty good. But it's like Jim said, there's a whole lot of things we don't know because they can move it from the end of May to the end of June to July to August. I mean, it can just keep going. That's why I've looked at it, because I was concerned. Well, I think they did a good job in putting the budget together. I'm not saying that. Things have changed since the original meeting.
Well, my point has been just across the board, wherever we can go ahead and tighten it now. I mean, we can always loosen it later, but we better go ahead and do it now. Precautionary.
Okay.
Any other discussions? But anything that you can get an opinion of, if you let Kim know, she'd be greatly appreciative, because she's trying to do the wishes of the board, but at the same time come up with a balanced budget that we can afford. Okay, thanks a lot, Kim.
Yeah, no problem.
Consider approval of the Lee Street demo project.
So back right before all this happened, I think it was like in the February meeting, y'all approved for us to tear down the Lee Street complex. And then COVID-19 happened, and I told the demolition guy, hey, I'm not really sure where we're gonna be. Can you just hold off? You know, there's a stay-at-home order. Let's just wait a moment. And then somebody said a match to the Lee Street building, and so we got some insurance money. So we actually received $143,206.99 worth of insurance money for the damage done on the Lee Street building. So instead of that money going into just general fund, I wanted to go ahead and appropriate a project to tear those buildings down. Go ahead and put that insurance money in there. We had discussed that we were going to pull the rest of the money out of fund balance. Currently, that stands at $300,243.01. We are working on trying to get some additional funding, but I think we're still kind of getting back and forth with some of the senators, right, Mayor?
Yes.
Yeah. So, but I wanted to go ahead and get this project set right now, set it for town of Benson money, and then the remainder of the insurance proceeds. I just need your approval.
Where did you say the town of Benson funds are?
Well, we had originally talked about pulling it out of fund balance, but you know, I had put them on hold for now, not really knowing what was going to happen with COVID-19. So, but that's originally where the money was going to come from.
And that was gonna be 300 and how much?
Now it's going to be $300,243. It was $443,450. It was the full amount, but when we got the insurance money, I backed that out of what the town of Benson was going to have to put towards it.
But isn't that what we're talking about? I'm just cloudy on this. Aren't we talking about, I don't want to get the horse, but isn't that money going to come out of what we might need if we go through another 3 to 4 months of issue with this pandemic, COVID-19 stuff?
It will. And I haven't told him to come and do the work yet, but yes, it would come out of fund balance. So that would be potential money that we would need to use. I can change the project ordinance tonight to be just the insurance money. If that makes everybody more comfortable, and then we can do an amendment later if we find out that we either have more funding from somewhere else to tear the buildings down. But we had full commitment a few months ago, so I was just trying to get at least the insurance money moved over.
What's the projected open date of the court?
Tim will have to help me answer that. Currently, we still are waiting on permits so we can put the full project out for bid. So Tim is going to come off mute, I think.
We don't have a projected completion date of it yet. We're hung up with a couple of permits. All the permitting has to be done through the state, so that stuff's been passed along to different departments or sections within DEQ for stormwater and wastewater. All different permits have to be done. So really don't have a timeline yet. I do anticipate it to go fairly quickly once we start. We're still hung up on permits right now.
I know it's important to do. I want to do it like everybody else does too, but I just didn't seem to me that we could take that money and put it in an account for that and just not and put it off for 6 months. And then if we really got in trouble, we could pull that money out and use it for something else. And that way we'd just be safe. You know, that's the way I'd hate to go and spend $450,000 and then have a $450,000 problem.
You still have to
The
consider.
property is still currently insured, so if something else were to happen, we could potentially get more insurance.
It is insured, yes, still insured. They actually said if I wanted to fix the smoke damage, they pay an additional like $17,000. But I mean, I know we're not going to go out and do that. So do you wanna, so, and this just commits the money, it's not saying that I'm gonna go out and spend it tomorrow, it's just committing the money. But like I said, we can do the project ordinance, I can take out the town of Benson funding and change the dollar amount to just what the insurance money is right now. And that puts it in this fund, and it doesn't get just kind of tied up in all the general fund numbers. It gets it out of the budget for this year.
I think it'd be a good idea to put the insurance money in that account, this year, mark the insurance money. And we'll see what we look like fiscally, maybe in January after all this stuff is over before we can meet with it.
So just to change the budget the project ordinance to just for the insurance money, does everybody agree with that?
Well, I don't wanna touch any of the general fund money or anything, I don't.
Okay.
Or earmark it or whatever.
And I would assume that we put it in this fund, we could always, if the worst case happened, we could go get it out and use it for something else, correct? Is that correct?
And you're talking about the insurance money, government?
That's right.
Yes, sir, absolutely. You can always, we can come back and say, you know what, we're not gonna do anything with this project, let's put it back into the general fund and we use it. Yeah, we can always do that, we can cancel the project.
Okay.
But there's the town has really a liability, and that fire is what scared us so bad. Was that somebody was in there and getting burnt up, and fortunately we had two firemen that went in there and put the fire out, and so there wasn't anybody in there.
I think it's kind of a balance. I think we're just trying to balance now because where we are, maybe they have an issue 2 or 3 months down the road. I think it's just prudent to take the general fund notes out. I think everybody does want to carry it down, but I'm just saying, they may have to go into back burner for just a few months.
Well, I think once the state ever gets their feet on the floor, they're fighting the same battle as we are. They don't know how much revenue they got to work with. And I tried to get her Jackson today, but he was out of town. He wasn't at home. But I will talk to him and see where he stands. We're gonna get some money from somewhere to turn out that good.
I think budget-wise this year, we just might as well plan on taking a huge loss on utilities, because at some point in time, we've got a very high rental rate in this town as far as percentage, and at some point in time, I'm assuming if they're not paying utilities, they're not paying rent either. And it's gonna be cheaper for them to move than it is for them to settle up with whoever their landlords are in on utilities.
Good point.
I got a question, Ken. Cause we're running $81,000 in, was it Fund 30?
That's gonna be between all utilities, so that utilities are in 10, 30, and 31.
Well, I know the power one that we run real conservative. We don't make a lot of money off of it. So if that fund was to go in the hole, we cannot transfer money from the general fund to that power fund, correct?
No.
Robbing people to pay Paul.
Right, and I just want to know, I'm glad you mentioned that. It is currently it's cash in lieu of, that's how it's done in this year's budget. But if you notice in the proposed budget for next year, there is no transfer. And there was a transfer from 30 and 31. Matt actually did it out of both. So I did not do that transfer in this upcoming budget. I think it was usually 75,000 out of water and 25,000 out of electric. So.
What's the wish you look forward?
I want to take the general funds out of that.
Okay. So you want to make the motion and to approve the project ordinance at the insurance funds of 143,206.99?
Yes.
Somebody make a motion for something.
Ordinance. There's a motion to approve the project ordinance with the exception of taking out the town of Benson funds of $300,243.01. So it would just incorporate on the insurance proceeds at this time.
Any other discussion? Everybody hear the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Ayes have it. Budget amendment number 5.
And the budget amendment number five is the physical act of moving the, insurance money into the project. And then as you'll see, the total insurance proceeds is $145,597.24. One of our, chargers had some damage, tree branch slammed into the front of it, in a most recent storm. And so we got some insurance money for that as well. So, 143,206.99 is going to go to a transfer to capital project. That will go into the project you just approved. And then the remainder of it is going to go into M&R equipment for the police department. So we can, well, the car's been fixed now, but it'll pay that bill, for the car.
Entertain a motion. Motion to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Town managers report.
Thank you, Mayor, Board. As you see here on your agenda, we have our regular meeting for the budget on May 28th. And so far, we have our June 5th movie night still scheduled. That would be at the Singing Grove. Abominable being on board for that. Our chamber event notice mentioned here on the agenda includes the Sundown in Downtown during June 11th, where Liquid Pleasure is slated to perform. I want to mention also that we're in the middle of our spring cleanup. I'm still going around getting some of our larger limbs and other yard waste on the side of the road there. Also, the some code enforcement with abandoned vehicles, high grass, etc. So we may hear from some of our citizens as that effort is progressing. But so far, the town's looking pretty good. It's in good shape. I will be coming back to the board at some point. Don't know how soon that will be. About taking a look at changing our entrance signs to enter into town. It says "Welcome to Benson." That was brought to my attention to take a look at that opportunity through Electric Cities, and we were given some ideas and a number of Dr. Max that actually sold some of them and was able to weigh in on my work. And so we'll bring those concepts to the board as well to kind of update our Welcome to Benson sounds. Be a bit more modern. I'm busy right now. And that's all I have.
Being your own, Loretta, do you want to say anything about Larry Strickland on the 21st of May?
Hi guys, yeah, on the 21st of May, we're doing a Zoom coffee connections at more than 9 o'clock. And Larry Strickland will be on there talking about COVID-19, how it's affected the state funding, and also how it's affected Johnson County. If you want to be on that call, you will need to pre-register because so I can send you the link. So you're welcome to join us that day, or you can call me at the office and I'll send you the link, or text me or email or whatever. So that's all. And I'm assuming that Fred told you that the June Sundown concert has been rescheduled to August the 27th. And we're hoping that we can do the July and August months. We're just waiting to see how things go. And Mule Days is a go as of right now. We're watching what the governor's going to do with state fair. And I think that'll dictate a lot of what other festivals around the state can do based on state fair procedures. That's all I have.
Mike?
I don't have anything unless anybody has questions about.
Max?
I say appreciate everybody, staff and everything. I know it's gonna be a hard time this year. Where I work at, they done implemented a lot of stuff, hiring freeze, you can't spend that money, capital projects, everything. Like the brakes on spending, so just be patient and just appreciate everything y'all do.
Jim?
Just a quick question. Realistically, June 5th for the singing room, movie night and all that, I mean, is that got a question mark beside it?
Big question.
Okay, and Liquid Pleasure, is that
She
also,
just,
right?
27th of August, was it, Loretta? Hello, Loretta?
He said it was rescheduled till August, and July was on until she got further notice.
Yeah, June 11th, Liquid Pleasures, that's rescheduled to August the 27th. July 2nd is Band of Oz, and July 21st is the Embers. We hope. And you knew the singing convention had been canceled altogether for this year. It'll be, the 100th will be celebrated next year.
Okay. You go. You done? I don't have anything.
I think Alan's dancing in
Alan, you dancing?
Somebody.
You wanna talk, Alan? Careful. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I made that motion.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Thanks a lot.
Thanks,
for being here,
everybody.
and
See you later.
we thank our man for setting everything up always.
Thanks.
there. So,
Thanks, Tyler.
Oh, you can
Yeah,
just
all
come
one.
down here with a towel.
Hey, Tyler, you take a look at something.